Imagine a cold so deep it feels like a physical blow. The wind howls across a vast white emptiness, snow and ice stretching to every horizon. This was the world of our ancestors during the Ice Age. Survival was a daily battle, a struggle against a planet determined to freeze the life from their bodies. To step outside was to face death. To stay inside without warmth was to invite it in. Yet, in this unforgiving landscape, our ancestors did not just survive. They thrived. They turned the biting cold into a challenge they could meet, using ingenuity born from necessity. We'll journey back in time to uncover their secrets, how they built homes, mastered fire, and created warmth and safety in a frozen world. These are not just tales of hardship, but of human resilience and invention. There were no shops for warm coats, no central heating. Every calorie of warmth had to be earned. The animals they hunted were food, clothing, shelter, and tools. In this high-stakes world, the foundations of human society were truly forged. So let us begin and travel back to the age of ice and mammoths to witness one of the greatest survival stories ever told. The first lesson for our Ice Age ancestors was to see the world not as an enemy, but as a partner. Nature, in all its harshness, held the keys to survival. They learned from animals, bears digging dens, foxes burrowing into snowdrifts, turning observation into survival skills. Early humans became master observers, their lives depending on noticing subtle details. This deep connection with the environment meant they knew where to find resources and shelter. They recognized sheltered valleys, understood the earth's gentle warmth, and passed this knowledge through stories and songs. Every elder was a teacher, every child a student in the wilderness. Their tools reflected this mindset. A flint became a knife, a branch, a shelter frame, a bone, a digging tool. They didn't seek to dominate the land, but to work with it. This allowed them to find solutions where others saw only wasteland. Their ingenuity was about seeing possibilities everywhere. Before building a home or hunting, they had to understand the land and the herds. This ecological wisdom was the foundation of their survival. One of the earliest solutions to the cold was to go underground. Our ancestors realized that just below the surface, the earth offered stable, survivable temperatures. By digging pit houses, they used the planet itself as insulation. These were not just caves, but carefully constructed dwellings, some of humanity's first architecture. Family groups excavated large pits, often circular, for strength and heat conservation. A framework of wood or bone formed the roof, covered with hides, moss, and earth for insulation. Entrances were narrow, sloping passages acting as cold traps, sealed with heavy hide flaps. Inside, the air was still and warm, filled with the smell of wood smoke and roasting meat. These homes were sanctuaries, the heart of family life in a frozen world. Ingenious design turned the earth itself into a shield against the cold. In the treeless plains of Eastern Europe and Siberia, wood was scarce. Here our ancestors built houses from the bones of woolly mammoths, a marvel of prehistoric engineering. Massive skulls and bones formed the foundation, arranged in circles for strength. Curving tusks created domed roofs, with antlers and smaller bones woven as crossbeams. These bone frames were covered with hides, turf and earth for insulation. Some structures were enormous, sheltering entire clans for years. These houses stand as monuments to Ice Age creativity and cooperation. They turned the remains of giants into warm, lasting homes. At the centre of every Ice Age shelter was the fire, life itself. Fire provided warmth, light, cooked food, and kept predators at bay. Keeping it burning was a constant challenge, especially where wood was rare. People gathered driftwood, grasses, even animal dung, and discovered that fatty bones burned hot and long. Archaeological sites are filled with charred bone fragments, evidence of ancient fuel strategies. Managing fire indoors required clever ventilation. A small roof opening let smoke escape, drawing in fresh air. The hearth was often dug into the floor and lined with stones. The fire was the social heart of the home, where people gathered, shared food, and told stories. Tending the fire was a sacred duty. Its loss in winter was a catastrophe. Around the flames, tools were mended, plans made, and bonds strengthened. The warmth of the fire was also the warmth of community. Fire was more than a tool. It was the spirit of survival. Mastering it was humanity's greatest triumph over the cold. Life inside the shelter was a world apart from the blizzard outside. The space was busy and warm, lit by fire and simple lamps of animal fat. With hunting often impossible, people focused on indoor tasks. Men knapped flint for tools, repaired spear shafts, and prepared for future hunts. Women processed hides, sewing them into clothing, blankets, and shelter repairs. Meat was smoked and dried above the fire, fat rendered and stored, berries dried for winter. This stored food was insurance against starvation. The shelter was also a place for culture. Elders told stories, people carved figures, painted symbols, and children played. These were the first sparks of art and tradition. The shelter was a bubble of warmth, life, and creativity. Here, survival was not just about endurance, but about living fully. The heart of Ice Age life beat strongest indoors. No one could survive an Ice Age winter alone. The ultimate survival strategy was the group, the clan, the community. Cooperation was essential, from hunting mammoths to building shelters. Every task required teamwork and trust. The hunt was a coordinated effort. The spoils were shared for the good of all. Everyone had a role, from hunter to child gathering firewood. Sharing was the rule. Resources belonged to the clan, not the individual. This mutual support created a powerful safety net. Planning and communication were vital, giving rise to strategy and leadership. The Ice Age forged our social nature, teaching us that together we could overcome anything. The Ice Age may seem distant, but its lessons still resonate. Our ancestors were masters of adaptation, innovation, and cooperation. They used the earth for insulation, managed air quality, and wasted nothing. Their ingenuity is echoed in modern sustainable practices. Most importantly, they survived through community, sharing, caring, and working together. In a world of challenges, their story reminds us that unity is our greatest strength. Their legacy is not in monuments, but in our very existence. They proved that no challenge is insurmountable with creativity and solidarity. By looking back, we find inspiration for the future we must build together.